Welcome back to the Bison Information Network. I'm Logan Genneberg. We have plenty of breaking news for you tonight coming right up, so stay tuned. A popular holiday, there are plenty of other cultural celebrations that are held during the month of October. One of these is Diwali night, a night that will immerse attendees in a rich experience of Indian traditions. The night will feature cultural performances, an Indian DJ, and delicious Indian cuisine, creating the perfect atmosphere and a night to remember. This event will be held this Saturday in the Osheti Sakoan Ballroom, starting at 5 and going until 10 p.m. Diwali night promises to leave lasting memories for all who attend, so mark your calendars off now. With the weather beginning to turn cold and the leaves quickly falling, it's that time of the year where the flu runs rampant. Getting a flu vaccine can be confusing or time-consuming for many, but NDSU Student Health Service has simplified the entire process. There's no appointment necessary, and with the process of uploading information online, you will get it in and out with no problem. Students will also receive several gifts, including a flu shot button, cookies, and other health items. The third and final flu shot blitz will be held this Tuesday from 9 to 4 p.m. in the Wellman Wellness Center. More information can be found on the Student Health Portal. With the fall term already halfway done, many students may be starting to get a little bit nervous about graduation, but finding a job does not have to be one of those worries, as NDSU's Industry Takeover Day helps students in different majors get connected with their future career. This Industry Takeover Day features a focus on engineering, allowing students from the industry to engage with future employers, establish those key connections, and be prepared for when they enter the job market after graduation. Some employers at the event include Doosan Bobcat, John Deere, and Marvin. These employers will be set up at different contact tables within the Memorial Union this Tuesday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Famous Midwestern comedian Charlie Berens has announced that he will be bringing his good old-fashioned tour out west to Fargo over the winter. The Wisconsin comedian has quickly gained fame and recognition over social media, where his Midwestern humor has captured the attention of many and pioneered a fresh type of comedy. Berens will be at the Fargo Theater on January 12th and 13th, with both shows starting at 9 and doors opening an hour beforehand. Tickets for the shows go on sale tomorrow at 10 a.m. with a pre-sale running today until 10 p.m., but don't wait around too long because these tickets will go fast, so go get yours today. If you recently received a letter from the city of West Fargo claiming you are a lottery winner, you may be the victim of a scam. West Fargo police have announced that there is a lottery scam impersonating the city. The letter claims that the recipient is a winner of the West Fargo Lottery Inc. International Online Lottery Program. The real giveaway is where the letter states you must call and provide your bank account information to claim your prize, claiming the funds will be wired directly. Police warn that you should never provide bank account info to claim a prize. And they also advise you to ignore any notices of alleged winnings if you do not enter said lottery. If you get a similar letter, please call the West Fargo Police or the Red River Dispatch Center. The U.S. Capitol has had to restrict access after a Gaza ceasefire protest resulted in numerous arrests. The public's access to the complex was restricted on Wednesday after the sizable demonstration disrupted one of the House office buildings. Protesters affiliated with anti-Israel groups gathered both inside and outside the Cannon House office building on Wednesday afternoon to call for a ceasefire. Tons of demonstrators inside the building chanting "Ceasefire now" were arrested by Capitol Police throughout the afternoon. Capitol Police had warned protesters not to demonstrate inside congressional buildings and made arrests when they did not comply. They also announced that they were shutting down roads around the Capitol to ensure the safety of protesters outside. Hopefully these protests remain peaceful as the conflict between Israel and Hamas ramps up. That's all we have for news this week. After the break, I will have your week in Bison sports. Don't go away.
Founded in 1985, the Missouri Valley Football Conference has established a tradition of FCS football excellence. Competing at the highest level of NCAA Division I, student athletes at its 10 institutions demonstrate character, passion, and integrity as they grow as a student, an athlete, and a citizen. The Missouri Valley Football Conference, where leaders are shaped and champions are forged.
One kid, one mentor, plus one moment can unlock limitless potential. 30,000 youth are waiting. Be there for one of them. Become a big today.
At NDSU, we're going to teach you about how to work with people. We're going to teach you about relationships with people and how to manage those relationships successfully, whether that's at work, whether that's at home. We have majors in agricultural communication, strategic communication, journalism, and management communication. We have students who have graduated who are doing all kinds of different things, everything from marketing to writing content to development to career coaching. We also, of course, have people doing more traditional things like news reporter or working for TV stations. The faculty members in our department advise undergraduate students. We think that it's important for faculty to develop relationships with our undergrads. We have a advisory board, and that consists of people in the community who are like local business people, and we try to make connections with those people so that literally we know the person that they should talk to about a job. You can't be in the world if you can't communicate. My recommendation is that you take some communication classes at the very least if you can. Even better, do a major in communication.
Welcome back to the Bison Sports Report. The football team is coming off a much-needed win against Missouri State. And with the Bison set to face off in perhaps the second biggest game of the year against in-state rival North Dakota, this would be the toughest test yet for an NDSU team that had shown signs of struggle, as the Fighting Eagles came in ranked 15th in the nation. But it was a nightmare from the start, as the Fighting Eagles would take the opening kickoff 100 yards to the house. Cam Miller would answer back, leading the Bison down the field before reaching pay dirt from 26 yards out. However, UND rattled off back-to-back scoring drives, extending their lead to 21-7. The Bison would try to remain within striking distance as the game would go to half with a score of 28-17 in favor of the Fighting Eagles. But the second half was one all Bison fans pray to forget, as NDSU would give up 21 unanswered points. UND went on to not only upset but dominate NDSU, handing them a 49-24 beatdown. The 25-point loss was the largest since 2005. When the Bison lost 37-6 to a then-ranked number 9 overall Cal Poly team. Cam Miller had yet another solid day, throwing for 175 yards, running for 55, and scoring 2 touchdowns. Eli Green had a career-best game, recording 4 catches for 96 yards. And on defense, Jake Cava had a good showing with 7 tackles, 2 for a loss, and a sack. After the crushing defeat, the Bison will have to get back on the winning track to keep their conference championship hopes alive. NDSU would also head into this weekend's matchup ranked outside of the top 10 for the first time since September of 2011. Luckily for them, their next opponent will be a winless Western Illinois team that should be exactly what this Bison team needs to get some of their mojo back. The game will kick off in the Fargo Dome this Saturday at 2:30 p.m. The game can be watched on ABC North Dakota or ESPN+. Moving on to women's volleyball, the Bison have been very busy this past week. NDSU is in the midst of an 8-day stretch that they will play 4 games during. This demanding week kicked off last Saturday against St. Thomas. The Bison had plenty of reason to expect a victory in this matchup, as the Tommies were winless in conference play and a limp to a 4-13 record. The Bison started off flawlessly, taking a tough first set and the second set, giving them a 2-0 lead and a chance to sweep the Tommies. But it all fell apart, with the Tommies going on to take the next 3 sets and upset the Bison in embarrassing fashion. Allie Hinsey did all she could for the Bison, contributing 21 kills, 11 digs, 3 blocks, and an ace. Alexis Bowling followed that effort up with 15 kills and 4 digs. And the freshman Lauren Jansen continued to thrive for the team with 13 kills, 2 digs, and 2 aces. Coming off the brutal loss, the Bison were hoping to get right back after back-to-back heartbreaking defeats. Their chance would come Tuesday as they hosted yet another struggling team in a 5-15 North Dakota team. It was a match that NDSU was praying for as they proceeded to stomp UND to the tune of a 3-0 blowout. It was all NDSU from start to finish, with the Bison taking one of the sets by a whopping 10 points. Allie Hinsey led the Bison for yet another game, providing 10 kills, 4 digs, 7 blocks, and 2 aces. And Lauren Jansen followed her up with 8 kills, 3 digs, and an ace. And Kelly Johnson played a massive role for the team, with her 3 kills, 27 assists, and 8 digs. After splitting their 2 games, the Bison will close out their busy 4-game stretch this weekend. They will begin that by hosting Oral Roberts tonight at 7 p.m. The game can be watched on the Summit League Network. As we near the start of winter, the women's soccer team is closing up their season. The Bison played their second last game of the regular season, playing on the road against South Dakota. The Coyotes got off to a red-hot start, scoring twice against the Bison in the first 10 minutes of the match. And after that, it was an uphill battle for the Bison as they were forced into a game of catch-up. NDSU did manage to get off 16 shots, with 7 of them being on goal. And while the Bison would crack the scoreboard for their first goal in 5 games, it was not enough, as they would ultimately fall short in a 1-2 loss. Amaya Garrett was the offensive star for the Bison, scoring their lone goal with her 1 shot. And Paige Goalie had a strong performance as well for the team, recording an assist to go with 4 shots, and 3 of them being on goal. The Bison will be back on the field at least one more time as they play the regular season finale tonight at home against Denver. The game will kick off at 6:30 and can be watched on the Summit League Network. Both cross-country teams were in action earlier this week at the Bradley Pink Classic in Peoria, Illinois. Starting with the men, it was a very respectable showing as they claimed 7th out of the 29 teams in the 8K Red Race with a team score of 181. The Bison narrowly beat out St. Louis despite not having a top 20 runner. IUPUI would win the meet with a team score of 118. Peyton Smith led the charge for the men, taking 21st with a time of 24 minutes and 45 seconds. Jake Arison was close behind, taking 23rd with a 24:50 time, and Zach Johnson was once again a key piece, stealing 27th with a time of 24:52. The women also participated in the Red Race section of the invite and were untouchable in the meet. The Bison would steal first place from South Dakota with a team score of 126 to the Coyotes 127. This victory is a huge one for the team, marking their second title win in the fall, with the previous one coming in the SDSU Classic. Reagan Baszler was the lead for the Bison, taking 8th place with a time of 21:11, and Grace Link snatched up 16th with a 21:29 time, and freshman Logan Hars excelled once again, taking 18th with a time of 21:30. This meet marks the end of the exhibition portion of the schedule as both teams will gear up for the Summit League Championships, which will be held in late October. The meet will be in Brookings, South Dakota, and best of luck to both teams in bringing home their respective titles. Well, that wraps it up for this week in Bison Sports. The weather's been fairly nice for this time of year. Henry, can we expect a few more days of pleasant weather, or is it time to dig those coats out again?
Thanks, Logan. Today we're looking at a pretty nice day with 62 degrees currently with mostly sunny skies with a dew point of 51 and humidity of around 59% with winds coming from the northwest at 7 miles an hour. Going to our hour by hour, we can see here that we're going to be mostly clear to pretty clear up until 1 in the morning, and then once it hits 3, we're going to start to see some scattered clouds, and then when it's 6 in the morning, we're going to see some partly cloudy skies with a low of 42. Going to our skycast, today we had 10 hours and 42 minutes of total sunlight with a sunrise at 7:50 and sunset at 6:32. Going on to our mooncast, we're currently in a waxing crescent, with the first quarter expected on August 21st. Going on towards today's almanac, today's temps, we had a high of 63 and a low of 43. Average temps in the past included a high of 58 and a low of 37, with record temps on this day, 84 in 1956 and a low of 13 in 1919. Going on to our national weather, things are starting to warm up here a bit as the southwest kind of stays the same temperature, but we're suddenly starting to see cooler temperatures up here in the northeast. And going to our rain, we're not expecting much rain in the nearest future, but all the rain you can see here is all in the northeast section of the country. Going to our 7-day forecast, we're expecting some pretty nice temperatures. 68 on Friday, 58 on Saturday, and also 50 on Sunday with mostly partly cloudy skies, with lows dipping into the low 40s. Moving on to the rest of our days, we could see that we're seeing pretty good weather for the fall, with highs in the mid-50s to Tuesday, dipping into the 40s for a little bit, with lows staying mostly in the 30s. And for our national days, today was National Seafood Bisque Day and National Kentucky Day. Well, that's all I got for weather. Have a great day, NDSU, and back to you, Logan.
Sounds like a good day to be from Kentucky. Kind of wish I was. Well, that is all we have for you here today on the Bison Information Network. I'm Logan Gettenberg, signing off, and we will see you next week. Take care.